So welcome to the Node.js package maintenance team meeting for February 9th, 2021. We'll follow our standard agenda, which was outlined in the issue in the repository. And before we get started, does anybody have any announcements they'd like to share? I guess the only one I'll mention is that the OpenJS World call for papers is open. So if you have a talk that you're interested in talking about, it's a good opportunity to get together with the rest of the community and do that. So,
do you know what the deadline is?
I believe it's February 15th. So it's within the next week or so. It's always possible things get extended, but I wouldn't count on it at this point. Okay, so if there's no other agenda items, we will move on to the issues that were tagged for the agenda. And the first one is OpenJS World 2021 CFP, basically a talk submitted from this group. I think Beth opened that. Unfortunately, this is too late for her today, so she couldn't make it today. But she did want me to mention that she's willing to pair with somebody to co-submit a talk if there's interest there. It sounds like Dominikas mentioned that he has, some things he might have to talk about. And I guess even the thought was we could even submit a panel or something like that.
That sounds fun.
I'd do a panel for sure.
June, yes, June. That's far enough out. I can.
Okay, yeah, you don't have to do anything yet, other than the submission. The submission has to be in this week.
Oh dear.
We all know we won't prep until the night before, right? So it's okay.
Well, I don't quite wait till the night before, but.
Oh, really?
I'm not doing a talk with this guy.
Yeah, don't add me on there. Yeah.
Right, so it sounds like there's interest. I guess it's like who's going to put together. So I guess first of all, it's like panel or a talk, and then who's going to put together like the abstract and submission. I think we can have.
So I'm just
so
following up on Beth wanted to do a talk specifically, you thought? Or
basically it says good place to showcase the work and discuss what's happening. The issue is just in case there was any interest in coordinating some joint submission. Either panel discussions or a talk, or so basically it's what, this is to kick off. What should we do? I know she's interested in co-submitting with somebody if there's interest. And so it's kind of just up to us to figure out what we think makes sense. And then we could figure out who's going to submit it and go from there.
do we know what the average length of the sessions are?
I think they're generally 20 minutes. It's been 20 minutes in the past, and so I think it's either going to be 20 minutes or 30 minutes would be my, it might even say so in the CFP. Submit a talk. There's the button. Submission form. I'm gonna have to log in. I'm not logged in, so I don't know, but it's going to be in that. I don't think it's going to be any longer than 30 minutes, and most likely it'll be 20 minutes.
So in that case, I would say we'd probably have, it makes sense to do like two, like a panel and maybe like back to back even, maybe a presentation. We could put together a deck with all the work that is going on in flight and just give like a status update. And then we could do a panel or almost like a live call like we.
Yeah, they'll likely all be pre-recorded. Like most of them, it's pre-recorded. As I understand, there's kind of like the first day is like keynotes, and those are going to be the live sort of section. But then the rest of it's going to be like a mix, basically a Netflix type style where you can go in, there's B tracks and you can watch and stuff. But like even the panel, just to say, even the panel would be pre-recorded if we did that. So it doesn't necessarily change anything. And I think your suggestion of having them like back to back would probably be a possibility then, because if basically if you got two things in the in the track, then it might work.
Yeah, I'm willing to help with put together a deck, and maybe we can all contribute to essentially like providing like status updates for that.
Yep.
And then, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting one in that you can only have two speakers when you submit. But in our actual recording, there's nothing to stop us from having multiple people jump in and actually say, okay, now I'm going to give an update on this other piece that we've been working on, right? So.
Oh, we're recording a thing. Oh, somebody just accidentally joined this call. Well, okay, that's cool.
Well, it's like, I think normally you can't have more than a couple speakers because speakers get access and whatever. But in a virtual conference, it's so much less. Okay, so it sounds like we have interest in both a talk and a panel. It sounds like, Darcy, are you volunteering to coordinate one of those two?
Yeah, I can help with both actually, but probably where I could help the most is probably like putting together a deck quickly or a templated deck. And then even if I did it, folks were okay with like it being in like a Google slide deck, that way we can collaborate on it then.
Yeah. And in terms of the people who will actually submit, we need to pick two candidates to do that. Do you want to do that, Darcy, with Beth, or?
Sure, I'm already logged in. I went through the process just now. So.
Everybody, does that sound good to everybody?
Great.
And then we can all jump in and help for sections if and when that makes sense. In terms of a panel then, so I guess then I think we can have 4 panelists and 1 moderator. Anybody want to volunteer to coordinate that one, be the moderator?
Go on, I'll be a moderator.
No, I know
Okay.
a great couple of moderators, yeah.
Okay, other people would like to volunteer to be on the panel?
Oh, if it's talking about what we're doing, I think that we may have some progress, quite some progress on Webby by then. I would hope.
Okay. So I think maybe from that perspective, getting you, Beth, in there makes sense, right?
I'm not sure if Chris and Wes might have updates for the create PKG work by that point as well, hopefully. By June, we've actually made some headway there.
That makes sense. I also wonder if like on the support side, I'm trying to remember his name. PKGS support, the PR that I'm feeling bad for not having reviewed yet, but I'm going to get this wrong, but Rodion?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if we could ask him to give an update on the support side, and then one of Wes or Chris on the what am I getting wrong? The create side. Does that make any sense? Okay, and then Wes, what you said Wes or Chris, was it?
Yeah, I think Chris has picked up the mantle here in terms of doing some work with the create PKG package, yeah. And Wes, I think, has been, heavily involved and kicked that off. So.
Yep. So, okay. Just Okay, so that's, I just took some notes. I'll paste these notes in so everybody can see them. Okay, so let me just here. That's what I took as notes. We should submit both a panel and a talk and just tag the people that we would think to be on the hook for those.
So I missed the beginning. Is this for the OpenJS thing?
Yep.
Okay.
So I guess maybe in terms of the talk, Darcy, you can connect with Beth just to coordinate on that, and then Glenn, you'll reach out to the panelists. Or I guess, I mean, we don't even necessarily, well, the one panelist we need to follow up with is Rodion, just to make sure he's willing to do that.
I'll do that. I'll follow up.
And I
with
guess
him.
Chris, one of Chris and Chris figure out who that is and then get that submitted. Okay, sounds good. Glenn. Okay. Okay, anything more to talk about on that one before we move forward? No, okay, let's go back to the next issue then. Discuss and dated issue with notes. And panel. Okay, the next one is shared credentials, number 441. So I think, Dominicus, you open that. Is there anything we need to discuss this week or?
Yeah, let me just open up my notes there. Yeah, the shared credentials. Yeah, so I created the bot account for Weeby. We'll need it for running tests and maybe eventually for publishing Weeby or whatnot. So yeah, I'm just wondering, how do we share the credentials? Because it will, every GitHub account needs to have an email associated with it. So what kind of an email? And then there's been several options listed on how to share the credentials. So there's a shared 1Password or something, or was it a foundational LastPass?
Yeah, the foundation has a LastPass. And then basically, like, you know, Brian can create the credential and then share it to anybody who has the free versions. And that gives us a bit of backup too, because then the foundation, if we all disappear, the foundation still has access. And
okay. Yeah, I guess we should coordinate it that way. Then it's just one gotcha is that I guess if the credential is shared, I can always retrieve it and then we can.
Is there any
2FA because I'll need it for,
involved?
I don't remember whether I set that up. I probably didn't, not yet, but it probably will involve 2FA. It should. Trying to be a good
So in that
citizen.
case, like, it may be that we want to share more than the password. We want to share the password in this.
Well, if we're going to
what
keep,
it's called, like the seed or something.
Yeah, if we're going to keep the seed and the password in the same place, then it's not much of a second factor, is it?
But it's, yeah, I suppose not.
I don't know how to
Well,
solve that.
It
Like, I
would
don't
still
think-
be a second factor for
Yeah.
somebody who didn't have LastPass access, but like,
Right. Like, I don't think we're trying to protect against LastPass being hacked. We're trying to protect against the password being compromised some other way. Now, if we share, I mean, obviously, if we share the seed, everybody puts it into their own storage.
Exactly. Whoever uses that are going to have both in all likelihood. Like, if you have access to the LastPass, you can recover both easily. And whoever needs the password, whoever needs to log in, they will have access to I don't know how to solve that. I have not thought about it. For the time being, I did not enable 2FA because it's only used for running tests right now. So it's low risk, right? It's not even going to get push access to anything. Will it? It needs push access to the test repos, but those are.
So you're just saying, yeah, turning on 2FA doesn't make sense anyway, because then we need
not at this point. Yeah.
Okay. The hard part would be probably in the bot. We'd need and maybe not hard, but we need like a 2FA generator, which would have to have the seed anyway. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Never mind.
Yeah. Okay. So I should ping Brian then.
Yeah, the best way to do that is just through Slack. Actually, if you're in the foundation Slack, you can usually get a hold of him. And if you just ping him and say, here's the credential, and here's, then he can actually send it out to a list of emails.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Anything else? Like, does that basically close that one out?
Yeah, and I guess we can sort it out with him. What kind of an email do we put down on that account? I don't know if the foundation has any throwaway emails or something like that.
So, well, that could be separate. Like, and that email, how do we need that to be used for?
Password recovery.
Right. So
and
probably
any other notifications and that kind of, yeah.
Right. So probably what we want to do then is to PR in a into here. Now, where is it? Issue. I'm just pasting it in here. We want to PR into here an alias, which can be whatever group of people, like maybe it's, we've set up the so that I forget what it's called, but like there's administrative members of the package maintenance team working group. So basically if we made an email alias for those administrative members, then any one of them would get those resets or whatever. And at the same time, what we'll need is Brian to actually set up that alias on the do we need him to set that up? I don't think so, actually. No, if we want it to be node. This one we can actually set up an alias that is like, if we say, package maintenance admin, it'll be package maintenance admin at iojs.org, and everything that gets sent to us will get sent to that mailing list.
Yeah, in this case, I guess 2FA might make sense. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. I'll follow that up and I'll think about it and maybe post some suggestions if we have anything more. Yeah.
It's okay, because that one. So for the we can PR in. I'm gonna say a new. Why don't we just say a new alias. Called. And does that like package PKG maint admin make sense? So what do we call that role? Back to our governance. Right, admin members. So maybe I'll say. Does this sound good to people just pasting in the chat? PKG maint admin members. It would be like PKG maint admin members at iojs.org would be the email.
Does it have to be shortened?
No, I can make it full. Basically, whatever the PR says, this will be what it will be. So, okay, so we can make that the full length because you're right. There's no reason to make it shorter. That,
You sure there's an email form somewhere which wouldn't accept that an email that long, but yeah.
Okay. I assume the dash is okay, right?
Probably.
Okay. I'm just going to take a note. So it says, we discussed, seems we have a way forward. Should I leave on the agenda as a reminder? Take it off? What do you think?
Yeah, let's take it off. It's easy enough to add
Okay.
it if we need to, right?
Sounds good. Okay, so that's that one. Moving on to the next one. Can we confirm reevaluate meeting time schedule? This is 4:38. Open it up to see. So I know, Owen, you've been looking at that a little bit.
It was mostly just for clarification. So I guess I was just confirming it. So currently, I assume we all know, but for the record, for those who aren't familiar, this group meets every other Tuesday, but as it alternates the week, it also alternates the time. So it's always every other Tuesday, but what the first or one session will be at 9 in the morning Eastern, and the next one will be 3, and it goes ping pongs back and forth between. So my question in the context of this was, are we trying to get all the meetings at the same day time and avoid the ping pong, or are we just trying to change one of these two meetings so we'd have a different day or something like that? I guess maybe, yeah.
So. I mean, when I asked the question, I don't care if we ping pong or not, really. I think the question was just presumably we're picking our meeting times because we want there could be a number of reasons, right? One is that probably all the currently active participants, we want to make sure they're able to participate. Another would be potential participants. We want to be able to participate at all. And then a third would be, there's probably a group of people in the middle that participate a little bit and we'd like them to be able to participate more. So things along that nature, right? And if one meeting at one time does that, then we should do that. And if 4 meetings at 4 times does it, we should do that, right? Like it's, yeah. Obviously we hope not for complexity, but like really whatever's going to achieve those goals. So the question was just, is the current schedule achieving those goals? And if not, is there a better one?
I guess maybe more precisely my comment, I guess, was then maybe more directed at the doodle, which was deciding to be more specific. And so I guess I understand, yes, we want to reevaluate the meeting time, but there is a doodle also kind of identifying time. And so I guess it was more, if I vote in that doodle, am I saying I want all the times to be this, or is there a particular time that, so as it alternates, and I guess this kind of goes back to the ping pong, of these two alternating, is one of those more challenging, and that we maybe only need, if we just picked one, or I guess there seems like there's a lot of options. Either both times aren't working at all, and like it kind of needs to be scrapped. One of those times is working, the other isn't. We change that, or maybe just for our own sanity, we just pick one day time that tries to get everybody and just have that going forward. So I guess it's just more. Are any of those is there? I assume it sounds like probably all options are on the table, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think it would be like if from that thing one time was like great for everybody, we might choose that. We'd still have to consider, what Jordan mentioned earlier, like what about people who aren't attending now?
Right.
But if it's like we can't find one time, then we should still continue to look at the 2 times, right? And
right. Yeah, usually what I do is like look at the group of people, and often what I'll find is that there's 2 times that added together include everyone, but that any one of those times would exclude 1 or 2 or 3 people permanently. And so picking those 2 times, or 3 times or whatever would work, right? So I haven't looked at the doodle lately, so I don't know what the results are looking like. But I think
Yeah,
I'd
there's a
rather have
split.
the calendar complexity than have some of the folks here just be unable to participate.
Yeah, agreed. I think that's helpful context that maybe the way to think about the doodle for anybody who's coming in at is vote for what works best for you, and we'll rank the top two. If that happens, if it happens to be that the stars align and it's a universal time, great. But either way, you're never more than, I guess, at minimum, you'd be able to participate at least once a month. The lowest hanging fruit is that you can participate once a month, with the goal being twice, and whether that's across 2 times or 1 time is up to the outcome of the doodle.
Right. So I mean, looking at the doodle, there's 2 times. Well, there's 2 or 3 times that look like they cover most people, but we need to get a few more people. Like I don't see Beth in there.
Wes is also missing.
Wes,
Yeah.
I mean, it's important to get ideally every individual, but it's also important to make sure we have people from every time zone. So like Beth may be the only, I don't know, is Beth the only one from like in Englandy time zone, or is there?
Well, Dominicus is that direction too, right?
Okay.
Emmanuel as well hasn't been able to attend it.
Okay. But yeah, but it just, at any rate, we should make sure that at the very least we have time zone representation, even if we can't achieve individual representation.
Yeah. So maybe on that one, it's like if we could get for next time, if everybody we could ask people to update. Maybe I'll do like an app mention. Which issue was that? Sorry. Do these time out at all?
I don't think so.
No. Okay.
But yeah, it might be good to poke some folks that we know we'd like to hear from.
Right.
I think the last time we talked about this, it did sound like it. Like we could add more time slots on that and more days. Those were just essentially the ones that I think we had discussed the last time we talked about this. And then also it sounded like trying to get the times more centered in the middle of the day, like ET middle of the day, almost, it sounded like, which is why those times are.
Yeah, those two, like the
there.
1 o'clock on Tuesday and Thursday, seem to be popular so far.
Yeah, I think it would be good if we can't get everybody on 1 time slot, then yeah, 2 time slots, that's totally fine.
Okay, so Beth, Wes, and a general to Node.js package maintenance. Anybody else I should specifically ping?
Get out Roy if you want.
Okay.
Poke him so I don't have to.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, what's his GitHub again?
RUY ARDONO. Art. Oh my goodness. How do I spell his last name?
ADORNO, I think.
Right,
So
Adorno.
RUY. It's not popping up. So RUY, what was it?
ADORNO.
ADO.
There you go. I copied him.
Thank you. Okay, pasted it into the.
That's bad.
Where did you paste it?
Hope he doesn't watch it in chat. There.
Did I spell it right, Darcy?
Okay, why am I not
I
seeing
think you had it right.
Chat?
I think you're
Okay,
better
good.
than I am, Jordan.
I've been trying to ping him too many times. Is what that means.
Did you chat everybody? Because I don't see it in the chat.
Oh, you know what? I'm just messaging Glenn after we were talking about guitars. I apologize.
Yeah, Zoom has a tendency to do that, and I'm like, well, I'm pretty sure I don't see it here.
Well, now you can see all
There
the
we go.
messages.
Thank you.
There you go.
Okay, thanks. I will do that, and then okay. So hopefully next week we'll plan to close, and go from there. Get additions to Doodle little. Okay, and if I could spell pinged, oh, I don't think the spell check's gonna help me with that one. Okay, the next one is suggested list of modules to help get support info into. I don't have too much more to report on that, except that we do have a blog post in the pipeline in terms of promoting the ones we've added it to for the Red Hat modules. So I'll share that here when that goes out, if we can help get that promoted. I guess the other thing is on Darcy's suggestion, I did open a discussion in the GitHub repo in terms of maybe getting it out at 10 p.m. I don't think I've seen anything on that recently. I don't know if Darcy, you've seen anything?
Sorry, the feedback that you gave for the support info?
Yeah, it was
I
just a
haven't seen any
suggestion
updates.
saying, hey, can we get this added as to the UI, right, kind of thing.
I haven't looked at our feedback discussions in a little bit.
I don't know if there's
I don't have any
anything like,
updates.
should I ping that one and say any thoughts, or what's kind of the way people keep them alive?
Yeah, if you want to ping E. Thompson, so Ed Thompson, on it specifically, if you're noticing that the thread is going down, I can send you his contact information.
Okay, yeah, if you can send that to me, sure, I'll ping him on that. Okay, I think those were the two things. The two things on that side. And I guess that's just more on that. And Rordian, last time we discussed, there was a suggestion that before we promoted sort of the next step in promotion, we should actually get a simple create tool in or option into the support option. I just got to take one other note before I forget. And so Rodian has actually submitted a PR to add the, I think it was called, we called it create. Let me just go and look there. Sorry, I didn't type the way I should. Right, so we've got the PR to add the create command. If people have a chance to create command, if people have a chance to review that here, I'll paste it in the chat just as a, that would be great. It's definitely on my list. Just have been totally overloaded last little while, so I haven't gotten to it, but that would be good. I think once we land that, then, hopefully we've got all the pieces that we were talking about in terms of encouraging more people to try and add that in. Anything more people can think of on that front?
I'll say it looks great, Don. Or sorry, Rodin.
Yeah.
I thought it was Don for a second, sorry.
Okay, the next one is just ignoring a vulnerability by the package maintainer. Darcy did submit that application, and to be honest, it should already be accepted. I don't know if did you hear anything back? I poked the people who should have given you the, hey, thanks for receiving it.
I got Brian Warner at least sent me an email, nice email.
Okay.
I get to see my own submission though, so I've seen the discussion since I'm on the CPC. So as a regular member, I get to see the thread. So yeah, I'm just wondering who to poke next, I guess, to get things rolling.
Yeah,
here, 'cause,
basically at this point, we agreed, there was a time last week or so that we agreed by which it would be accepted. So it's accepted. I think we just need to get started. So maybe you and we can get together and start pushing the next steps going. Sound good? It might be next week because I'm still trying to catch up on a bunch of things, but then we can hopefully get it launched.
Yeah, definitely. And I know Marcin Hope,
Yep.
Had reached out as well. And after having led, the node security working group, or not led, but obviously being heavily involved there. And I think also he's involved in the, what's the Linux Foundation group for security?
OSSF, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
There might be some overlap, obviously, that we can really pull in from him, and I would love to have, and I saw Jordan also said he'd be getting involved as well. So yeah, just would love to kick it off, and yeah.
And I think we'll do a bit of a press kind of thing from the foundation as well, like as it kicks off, to say, hey, this is starting up, if you're interested. So that may get us some other participants too. So.
Yeah, and Google just had their, I'm not sure if folks saw, but a presser go out about their open CV initiative, I think. I forget what it's called exactly, but I saw that do the rounds on social
What's the
media.
goal behind that?
I think it's very similar. Well, it's actually more of like I think it's supposed to be like an open database of CVs. I can try to find the link for you.
Okay, so it's a way of getting the CVs versus from MITRE and all the, okay.
It's NSP 2.0, but.
Okay, so it's a little bit different, but as it's not focused on the suppression of the CVEs, but how do you get them? Anyway, okay. So yeah, so that's kind of on me. We'll try and get that kicked off and going, because yeah, should be all accepted now. I'm pretty sure we set like a deadline, which was like, hey, if by next meeting nobody objected, it was basically approved, and I haven't heard anybody object, so should be good. Okay. Now I want to take a quick look. Open source security vulnerabilities. Oops. Okay, so let's move on to the next issue. So the next steps on support levels and packages. I think we kind of covered that under the list of supported modules. Covered above. So that takes us to the end of what was on the agenda. Are there any other things that people would like to discuss before we close out for today? Okay, I'll stop the stream. Everybody, I think Darcy